All right, good Monday morning. Okay. Yes, this probably won't come out today, so it won't be Monday when you see it, but so I wanted to talk a little bit about my last short video because there was comments on there that, whatever, about the whole Oregon 60 fire trucks being held up in Sacramento and all that. So, here in New York State, other than the big cities like New York, obviously, the NYFD, the New York Fire Department, the city of Auburn here in our county, they have their own fire department. The city of Syracuse and Onondaga, the cities have fire departments. Other than that, it's mostly volunteer fire departments. Cato Fire Department is about 3 miles that way from me. Ira Fire Department is about 2 miles that way from me. Plainville, one of their fire departments, is about 6 miles that way from me. Actually, you've seen me work in the fields right behind it, basically. So here's my question, okay? If this place started on fire and Ira responded, but they don't have enough trucks and whatnot because the fire is huge and they need, Cato to respond, they need Plainville to respond, are we going to stop the surrounding fire departments to inspect their vehicles? Meanwhile, the place is burning to the ground. So I talked to my brother, who's been in the fire department for years and has been a chief. I don't know if he still is or not. Talked to another guy, a friend of mine, who's been in the Cato Fire Department for years. He's been a chief too, might still be, I'm not sure. He's also the number 2 in our emergency management office here in the county, so I, worked with him when I was on the county legislature and whatnot. And the vehicles get, inspected. They're commercial vehicles, a fire truck. What the hell was the name of the place? My memory sucks. Hang on. My brother told me. Harry probably did too, but I don't remember because my memory sucks. Hang on. Repair Plus in Auburn does Cato's. I don't know who does Ira's. Probably the same, inspections. Then there's fire companies. I know it's the one that they use is called Jerome, who they get their fire equipment from. Jerome does fire equipment company does their pump tests and all this. So anyways, going back to the whole California thing, I guess supposedly Cal Fire has said no, they're not testing for emissions, but they're checking every truck. I got a little article here and a little video that I'm going to play for you. Hang on. Fact check. Oregon Fire. Okay, why'd you go away? Oregon Fire engines allowed to fight wildfires in California. KATU News in Portland, Oregon, has been made aware of a post on social media site claiming that the 60 fire engines from Oregon would not be allowed in California to help battle the wildfires around Los Angeles due to emissions. A spokesperson with Cal Fire says that is patently false. No vehicles from Oregon have been turned around or refused service at Davis Mobile Equipment. That's important, remember that. And all out-of-state vehicles have been serviced and are heading to or have arrived in Southern California. No emission test was performed. All repairs were completed the same day, with the exception of a couple because of parts, but turnaround was usually early the next day, a Cal Fire spokesman said via email. The inspections ensure that all engines on an emergency scene are equipped, mechanically sound, and able to respond. This ensures our number 1 priority of safe deployment for our firefighters, the Oregon State Marshal Office said. So Oregon's going along with the bullshit. So Cal Fire posted a video on their social media channel showing out-of-state equipment undergoing these safety checks. I'm going to play this video for you.
Both for your brake chambers. Right now we're reinstalling, and then we will set the brakes and the applied stroke. and get this truck back up on the road and down south.
So they replaced the
They're
some
coming
brake
from all
chambers.
over, Oregon, Washington, Idaho. We were getting vehicles in and out of here, strike teams in and out of here in about 45 minutes.
We inspect all the vehicles, make sure that they're repaired. Anything that's broken, we do fix here on the spot.
Yesterday, we processed close to 133, 134 vehicles. I think by the time we're done, it's going to be well over 200.
Seeing what these guys will do at the drop of a hat. I mean, everyone will drop what they're doing just to come together and to make this happen. It's awesome.
Okay, so they supposedly are doing like 135, 33, 34 vehicles a day. Turnaround is, within 45 minutes. Is that for each vehicle? How many people are working at this place that you can turn around 130 some vehicles? But how many things burn to the ground in that 45 minutes? Here's my point, okay? Thank God for all the fire department people. Thank God for the firefighters that are, fighting these fires. Thank God for the other states that are sending California fire trucks and firemen to, help fight. But, I mean, are we to believe that, well, according to the Oregon person who went along with California, must be Oregon does a shit fucking job of taking care of their own equipment, because it needs to go into this place in Sacramento for, 45 minutes to an hour to be inspected. So how much burned down while those 60 fucking truck, or those 130 some that they're talking about, because there's trucks coming from Utah and other places too, how much shit burned down while they were, servicing them trucks? Because apparently those states that are coming in to help must not do a good enough job, according to California, of servicing their own trucks. Like I just said, if this place was burning to the ground and IRA responds, should they tell Cato, well, we're not sure you service your fucking vehicles good enough, so you can't help until, go take it to that service place and make sure it's okay, and then come back and help us fight the fire. Wow. I mean, and then you just got the leadership of California that's, that Mayor Bass cut out, what was it they said? Somewhere around $18 million in the budget to use that money for housing illegals, supposedly. Okay, because that was more important. Yep, old gruesome Newsom there, Gavin Newscum. I've seen reports in the last year or so, he's taken $100 million out of fire protection. Northern California has tons of runoff water from the snowpack in the mountains and rain and whatnot. And I saw a lot of these celebrities going on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever the fuck it's called now, X, all these social media platforms, and saying, where's our tax money going? Because apparently California did a referendum here where the people actually voted not too many years ago to go ahead and tax us more, California government, in order to make more reservoirs and whatnot to store all this runoff water for these reasons if there's these big wildfires. Because, they don't maintain their forest areas. They just let the shit grow forever and die, and they don't maintain their brushy areas because, we don't want to hurt the environment. But none of these things were ever done. Instead, I've seen pictures that people have taken and put on social media of a pretty, LGB alphabet soup flag painted fire hydrant. That's great. That's great, all that DEI shit. You painted that fire hydrant all the rainbow colors. Too bad the fucking thing doesn't have any water in it or any water pressure. I don't get it, folks. I don't get how you keep voting for that shit. How these people keep getting into office that are doing this to you. It's complete insanity. And when it's going down like it was going down, I mean, shit was burning to the ground like that. you take the time to make sure these things are up to your standards, because apparently the states around you standards, their standards aren't as good as yours, California. No, I want the motherfucking trucks rolling in and hopefully hooking up to a fucking hydrant that's got water in it, because you're at least lucky enough to have hydrants. You live out in the country, there's no hydrants. When the fucking pump trucks run out of water, they're heading to a pond somewhere, which luckily we have a few big ones nearby where they can fucking fill back up with water and then come back to help fight the fire. It's insanity, folks. But then, did any of you see the Zoom call between old Newscum and Biden, where the first thing that old Newscum said was, we need to fight against all this misinformation that was out there? Yeah, because that's the most important thing there, dummy. But apparently our federal government, according to Biden, over the next 6 months is going to fully pay for all the, houses, fully pay for everything to be rebuilt. Yep. Meanwhile, I saw the most depressing fucking video on Instagram yesterday of a line that, I don't know how many cars were in that line, 100 or more. People in North Carolina waiting in a line to get propane tanks filled up to, heat their fucking tents that they're living in. A big ass snow and ice storm just went through those areas this past weekend, I'm sure you've all seen. And those people got a $750 loan. Loan, mind you. How about Lahaina, Hawaii? Has that been rebuilt yet? Last I knew, those folks got, what was it, $700 or $750 a piece too, and I'm pretty sure that was a loan. But we're gonna, and I don't want to sound like a callous ass, but we're gonna rebuild people's $5, $6, $8, $10 million homes around Hollywood for free. Well, it's not free because the taxpayers are gonna pay for it. My heart goes out to anybody whose home burned down and you lost everything, whether it was a $200,000 home or a $20 million home. But why do you think the insurance companies were canceling insurance policies, and insurance companies like State Farm getting the fuck out of California? Because of all the bullshit regulations? Because of the leadership in California? It's no different than here in fucking New York. I realize that California is not all blue, but folks, those of you who hate the leadership there, you get sucked in because of the fucking idiots in the big cities that keep voting for that leadership. And a lot of those same people are going to get their shit rebuilt on everybody's tax dime. Meanwhile, people in North Carolina, Tennessee, over in Hawaii at Lahaina, here's $750, and oh, by the way, you're going to have to pay it back eventually. Yep. What's going on? Do they not want these places rebuilt? Is this part of the government taking shit over for their smart cities and stuff? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. The answer that I know should be happening is fuck stopping the trucks for their inspections, because apparently you think you're better than any surrounding state, and let them get to the fucking fire. That guy in that video, like I said, oh, it's usually within 45 minutes. What could have been saved in a 45-minute period? And that's one truck they're talking about. I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's crazy. So here's your one more thing. Make it make sense. That's all I can say. Somebody make it make sense. Again, I'll reiterate what I said. I know there's people who don't vote for the bullshit leadership. It's the same with us here in New York. You look at an electoral map of New York, fuck, 80 to 90% of it is red. But the people in the big cities outnumber us. Maybe these people will stop now that this has happened. I don't know. Or is that why Biden says, oh, we're going to rebuild that because, want to keep the base happy? I don't know. Again, I still think it's absolutely horrible what happened to people. And like I said, no matter if you got a $200,000 house or a $10, $20 million house. Like I said in the last video, I saw that interview that Mel Gibson did. He lost his house. You know, Mel ain't no blue lover, let's put it that way. Mel's a pretty conservative guy, and he's basically said the leadership sucks. What was it he said? Gavin Newsom needs to spend less money on hair gel. Yeah. So, I don't know. Make it make sense, because it doesn't. But what the fuck has made sense in the last 4 years? Not much of anything. So, I don't know. Push on the Grumpy Farmer apparel link. Get yourself some Grumpy Farmer apparel if you want, and we'll see you in the next one, whatever that is. Today's the 13th, so another week, and hopefully things start to change come January 20th.